Hey, Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to. On this episode, we've got all things AEW Rampage from Saturday. We've got Friday Night Smackdown, which was a pretty eventful episode with the Bloodline going after the tag titles, but it might not be the members of the Bloodline that you see going after tag titles. No. In fact, it's Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa.
Ooh,
yeah, we're going to talk about that. We've got the finals for the World Heavyweight Championship match at Night of Champions are now set in stone, with Seth Rollins taking on AJ Styles, who went through two brutal matches. Not really gruesome, although I guess good. Bobby Lashley did bleed a bunch.
Yeah, he bleed all over the place.
Gruesome might be apropos. So we're going to talk about that. We've also, of course, got some news from over the weekend, including some information on a possible future plan for Randy Orton to not wrestle anymore if his doctors have anything to say about it. It's not really a plan. I was trying to think of like prognosis, diagnosis. Which one is prognosis?
Prognosis.
Prognosis. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Outlook, right?
Yeah. And then, but first, let's talk about this. Let's talk about Vince McMahon. Now, we didn't put Vince McMahon in the thumbnail for today's episode. That great picture of him with the mustache, you know, with the whatever the Endeavor background.
Yeah,
doing a little sit down interview
when he and Ari Emanuel were announcing the merger between. Yeah. So speaking of
that, people love that thumbnail, man. That always does numbers.
So part of that deal was WB and UFC joining forces. Like from a business perspective, do you see what the name of this company is?
So I thought it was going to be like TKO or something like that.
That was the the
ticker.
The moniker for the stock market,
the public offering thing.
But
what is
the
it?
actual name of it is New Whale Inc. I saw.
I'm sorry, what?
New.
Yeah.
Whale, as in the sea mammal.
I was trying to think like the sea mammal or the scream.
No.
The sea mammal.
Not another whale. Not one of those. No,
not that.
A new sea mammal.
What? Wow.
I know.
Why?
I don't know.
Why would they call it that? That's horrible.
I don't know. But anyway, so this new company, New Whale Inc., issued a prospectus, I believe Friday, and offered up some details on Endeavor's acquisition of WWE, including who insisted that Vince McMahon remain involved in the company for the deal to move forward. And WrestleNomics has a great timeline of everything. Yeah. It's great. We'll put the link in the description here. And it states, so one of the original terms that I believe was offered by Endeavor, it would be a 43-57 split in favor of Endeavor. Mm-hmm. WB came back with a new term sheet that said 51-49. Mm-hmm. And then on March 23rd, this is from Brandon Thurston's write-up on WrestleNomics. Endeavor's legal advisor gave WB a revised term sheet proposing Vince as executive chair until death, resignation, or incapacity as a condition of giving WB a 49-51 increased valuation. Vince would also get 5 of the 11 board seats and certain veto rights. According to the filing, Endeavor was willing to concede to giving WB shareholders a greater portion of the value of the merged company, 49% rather than 43%, only on the condition that Vince McMahon remained with the company as executive chair. Mm-hmm. Also, there's a lot of really interesting stuff in this timeline. I highly recommend checking out, again, the links in the description. But also noted in this timeline is that, quote, over 60 potential counterparties, including strategic companies, financial sponsors, family offices, and sovereign wealth funds were in contact about a WB transaction.
Sovereign wealth funds. I wonder who that is. Yeah. Over 60. Over 60
And there's some details in the timeline about something. They're not named, but details about like price per share they were offering.
Oh, yeah.
That kind of information. It's interesting stuff. Highly recommend checking it out.
Friendo Club LLC offers up 5 packs of bologna.
Well, what's a sea mammal that we could use for a name of our new company, Steve?
Oh, dude, if it's us, I don't know. Old Walrus.
Old Walrus.
Not New Whale. Old Walrus.
All right.
Yeah,
all right.
Partnership. That's all interesting stuff. Look, I mean, it's not, you and I, we thought, I guess maybe naively, that companies out there like Comcast or whatever wouldn't want the baggage of Vince McMahon. But the bottom line is, for the past 70 years, for the past very long time,
40 years.
Yeah. He has. Well, shit. When did he took over? Like in the early 80s. Okay.
Yeah, it was early 80s. About 40 years ago. Yeah.
But even preceding that, with his dad at the helm, going back ages, the McMahon name is synonymous with professional wrestling. Credit to Vince for keeping it that way for all these decades. And so it's not shocking at all that, if the goal here is to make the company a public company, which is what they're doing here with this New Whale Inc., then, the general, I guess, shareholder market out there is going to want the guy synonymous with professional wrestling to be there. And it's a sad state of affairs that, all the things that are coming to light about Vince McMahon, are sort of swept under the rug, and they don't care about that for that almighty profit. But that's just the state of business these days. The people just don't seem to give a shit about that, man.
Sadly, that is the case. I know. You'd think from us outsiders looking in that the baggage associated with Vince would be potentially too much for just about anybody looking to acquire or merge.
Yeah.
Sorry, Metal Nerve says it's a new whale organization. There we go.
It's a new whale organization.
New whale organization.
I saw somebody here say "baby shark."
But yeah, you'd think the baggage associated with Vince that you wouldn't want to be in business with someone with that much baggage. But sadly, in the world we live in today, that stuff does get kind of
go back pushed
to the side, in the effort to try to make people more money.
The criteria of Vince being gone from that company was, what was it? Death, resignation, or incapacity?
Yeah.
So, I mean, did you dive any deeper into that aspect of it in terms of could he be fired if?
I don't know if there's anything in there about being fired for, say, cause.
Yeah, right.
Don't know. I didn't necessarily delve. I did read some of the verbiage as it existed in the thing, but that was like on Friday, and I couldn't find it again easily today. That's interesting that it's laid out in those terms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, kind of ironclad for Vince.
Yeah, it seems pretty beneficial for Vince.
Yeah.
But it's a sad state of the kind of the world we live in, where stuff like that just kind of pushed aside because people want to make more money.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the one thing that seems to be, I don't know, I guess, encouraging, at least for the people there, and not to say this can't change, is that Vince doesn't seem to be at the actual TV shows themselves. So it's not like people, the wrestlers have to walk on, pins and needles. Or camp outside of his office for to get some creative ideas in.
Yeah.
So at least that's a positive. I don't know. I mean, I always figured, well, he'd be bulletproof until the day he dies, and that might still be the case. In terms of that, to me, that kind of stuff, like his behavior and him getting his consequences, that is the most important stuff. However, when discussing the quality of the product, I mentioned this on our last show on Friday or whatever it was, I do think that the product itself hasn't been all that terrible lately. I think it's been all right. And if this is what we can expect, maybe from, a structure standpoint, Triple H, being there day-to-day creative, people seem to like him. The wrestlers seem to like him. And Vince McMahon taking a big picture approach. Mm-hmm. And I guess pleasing any number of wrestlers who were there, because we talked about that on Friday too, is that there are some wrestlers who seem to be cool with Vince being there and happy that he's there. Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. Maybe he can sort of please both of them at the same time. I personally would kind of prefer to see like Triple H, just see what he can do for a full year by himself.
Yeah.
And it's not like the small sample size we had was like perfect. I thought there was a lot of work that he needed to do, particularly with women's division. Mm-hmm. But, maybe that was the kind of thing that was a wait and see thing. I don't know. But yeah, it is what it is. It's not, the product isn't god awful the way it was in the last year or so of Vince McMahon's, reign of creative, where it was like, man, shit just doesn't make sense. Like things just wouldn't make sense. There'd be endless rematches. It was clear he wasn't, keeping up to date with what he was doing. It was like booking my GM without writing any notes. It's like, wait, are these guys in a feud? Like, no, it's like not even the little indicator. These people are in a feud.
Yeah.
It's like it's like he didn't even understand who was in a feud from week to week.
No, it is a lot like how the My GM situation. Before we get to the next story, we got some new members here on YouTube. DJ Mott, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Logan Sampson's a member for 2 months, says there's a belt collector in town, and his name is The Big Dog. The Big Dog, the tribal chief going after all the titles, man. Maybe he was watching some 2021 AEW or 2020, whenever it was, Kenny. Yeah, could be. Ricardo, surname redacted, says, guess I'm a member now. Howdy, friendos. Hello, Ricardo.
Welcome, Ricardo.
Dwayne Gabriel is a member and also gifted a membership. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate that.
And then Hidden Network here says, hey, guys, hope both of you are okay. Wishing you all the best. Thank you so much. Hidden Network, if you're watching here on the YouTube, whether you're watching live, VOD, give us a thumbs up. Give this video a like, please.
Thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button, man.
We got Triple H calling in later. He likes it when there's 200 likes.
You know who loves 200 likes? What I've heard. Do you know who likes 269 likes?
Don't want to hear it.
Dick Slavitt.
Don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear his name.
Well, if you don't want him to appear, then don't say anything horny when Triple H is on the line. It's weird how
try my best.
Anyways, the guy who we'd like to see try his best to get healthy, Randy Orton. It's been about a year since we've seen the Viper, the Apex Predator, on WWE TV due to a back injury. And during a recent interview with Wrestle Binge, which is a great name, by the way.
It is a good name.
Randy's father, the Cowboy Bob Orton, seemed to indicate that the Viper's in-ring career could be over, saying this. These transcripts come to you via Wrestling Inc. He's training, so we'll see what happens. I don't know if he feels like going back or he feels like he's ready to go back. I think he might. Then again, he's pretty well taken care of. I don't think he needs to. And I think the doctors have told him not to. That's the big line that everybody's picking out. The doctors told him stop wrestling.
Yeah.
And then he continues. But Randy will do what Randy wants to do. So, this is not too dissimilar from... Although maybe a little bit more credibility behind this than like Ric Flair, who constantly talks about, what's going on in the WWE with his daughter or, whatever. But yeah, I would imagine that there's probably some amount of truth to doctors saying you've had a long career. Your neck is not going to get any. It's not going to be a million. It's not going to be 100%. Maybe consider it. But so yeah, I don't know.
I kind of wonder if that's the default position of most spinal surgeons.
Why would you do this to yourself?
If you're having surgery on your back or neck, anywhere along your spine, if you're just in quality of life after your wrestling career is over, maybe don't wrestle again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thankfully have not had to have back surgery in my life, but I've had my fair share of neck and back issues. Yeah. And even to the light degree that might exist, it sucks.
My wife had back surgery. Lacey had back surgery. It ain't fun,
Nope.
And she wasn't going around dropping RKOs on people.
And that's another thing, is so much of his appeal as a performer is the RKO.
Yeah,
and that's just jumping and taking a back bump.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
and he said in an interview before he had to take his leave that all the RKOs he's been doing over the years, it started to take a toll on his back.
Yeah,
and if he comes back, is he going to have to change his approach to make sure he can remain healthy?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's probably the situation. Like, it wouldn't shock me if I would imagine if they told him, hey, you can't wrestle again, we'd probably know. Like, he probably would, if it's a kind of situation where it's like, oh yeah, you can't be doing this. Yep. Otherwise you risk immediate, paralysis or worse or something like that. He probably at this point would have been like, okay, I'm just going to retire. But it's probably like what you're saying. I would imagine they're probably like, yeah, well, don't do this to yourself. Like, it looks messed up. So
yeah, I imagine
we'll
like
see.
the success rate on. I think he was having a fusion, spinal fusion. So I think in his back. That's what I read. And I imagine the success rate of those surgeries is pretty good because let's say they're fairly common. But at the same time, you'd have to assume the side effects of those injuries would be there's probably a relatively long list if you injure that area of your body yet again. And that's probably just, I would think, kind of a standard thing.
Yeah, and I wonder, I don't know what kind of person Randy Orton is in terms of, obviously he's a family guy. We know, if you look at his Instagram, he seems like he's got a good, healthy family life. And yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if he's the kind of guy who would be like, hey, you know what? I'm bound and determined to finish my career on my terms, or, if it's something else, I don't know. But it'd be interesting to find out. Obviously, he's a complete and total legend in professional wrestling, and
Hall of
he'd be
Famer.
first ballot headlining Hall of Famer guy, absolutely. So it'll be interesting to see.
And he was doing some of the best work of his career.
He seemed to be really. That's what kind of makes us more sad is that he seemed to be having a lot of fun doing the RK Bro stuff.
Yeah, totally. And he was doing excellent work. So it's there's never a good time to get injured. But it's a real bummer that we couldn't see that story through to the end potentially.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Due to this back injury.
Yeah. Got a super chat here from Jason Raso. Says, greetings from Sydney, Australia. Watching live at 5 a.m. Great work, Steve Larson and all the friendos. Thank you very much. We appreciate that super chat there. We also had a bunch of gifted subs over here on the Twitch. Of course, we watch the show live. We record the show live, both on YouTube and on Twitch, twitch.tv/Steven Larson. John Herc gifted a bunch of subs over here, as did Bree Mode. Thank you very much, Bree Mode.
Bree Mode.
Appreciate that. Also, before we get started into our Smackdown recap, because we got a lot to talk about there.
Yes.
Remember, if you do, click that join button on YouTube. Or if you go to patreon.com/Steven Larson, you can get access to our question threads for our recap episodes, our bonus episodes, which we do by and large weekly, and of course the May Predictions Challenge. The inaugural Big Blue Predictions Champion is on the line come Weekend of Champions. Last weekend of May, of course, we've got Morning of Champions, WWE from Saudi Arabia. We've got Double or Nothing live from Vegas there in AEW. And, of course, NXT Battlegrounds, which is going to be probably a fun show as well.
From all those Massachusetts.
That whole weekend is going to be determining the Big Blue Predictions Champion. As the very first one, of course, our dear beloved friend, the Enforcer, is the forever Big Red Champion. That's cemented in history now. And so we're going to be crowning a new Big Blue Predictions Champion. Oh, yeah. Have it. Go ahead.
When you hear Lowell, as in Lowell, Massachusetts, what's the first thing you think of?
Either one of two things.
All right.
Dude from Wings is actually the number one thing because he came before the guffaws, the laughter.
Yeah.
But when I hear Lowell, the town, I think of Lowell from Wings. Yeah.
Yeah. Me too.
I thought he was hilarious, man.
Yeah, he was.
That show, like, it was Thomas Hayden Church was like the one. Like, it was a clever show, but he was the A player. He was like Bull from Night Court, Richard Mull. Yeah,
totally.
Yeah.
Before we get to our SmackDown recap, just want to send our condolences and our love to Christopher Kaufman.
Yeah,
we love you, Chris.
Yeah.
Anything, we're here for you.
His father, Ron, passed away from cancer today. He announced that on Twitter. Obviously he was our intern for a semester, but more than that, he's our friend. Yeah. And he's been a friendo watching what we do
since the beginning.
Since literally he was in middle school, and now he's he graduated college like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So that's how long Chris has been a friendo, and he's grown into a friend, and a good one at that.
Yep.
And we had the pleasure of meeting Ron on occasion. Yep. And just a terrific guy, a lovely person, and yeah, man, we got to say this all too often, unfortunately, but fuck cancer.
Yeah,
golly, man, what the heck is next? Anyways, let's talk about SmackDown. Pretty eventful episode. The World Heavyweight Championship finals are set. Seth versus AJ. It happens the Night of Champions. I love AJ Styles. I've loved AJ Styles for a while now. I was kind of hoping to be Edge, but AJ versus Seth is going to be a banger ass match.
I mean, if you look at it on paper, it's probably the best match they could put on. But I agree. I think the story of Edge trying to get that title, the idea. I mean, one promo that he did on his, like one Matt Chat question he did on his phone, like in a lot of ways, completely upended how I thought this tournament was going to go.
I agree, because that promo made me think, if Edge wins on SmackDown, if he comes out of this thing, I don't know that they give it to Seth.
I know.
I kind of feel like it's a foregone conclusion now, right?
It is. Yeah, because if AJ wins, not only would AJ have to go to Raw, you'd think the entirety of the OC would have to go to Raw then too. And that's such a huge transfer of a massive and potentially rather powerful faction going from one show where they could feud with the Bloodline potentially to Raw, that it seemed like it was too much. Whereas you have Edge, you have the story. I'm going for the title that I never lost. And
if I win it, whoever takes it from me, I'm retiring, which is an amazing story.
It's a great story. It's a great story. At least give us the potential of that being the case.
Yeah.
Didn't turn out that way. I'm not going to complain about Seth versus AJ. The match,
it's going to be tremendous, but you're absolutely right. You're 1,000% right. The story is, and going into that show, I would have been like, not all my confidence points on Seth Rollins. I don't know. I don't know that it's going to be him, and they might go with Edge because it is a killer story. He's one guy. He could easily go back over to Raw. They could do like some trade thing. I was kind of disappointed. I thought the matches were all really good on SmackDown for the World Heavyweight Championship stuff, especially. But at this point, dude, I'll be honest with you. Like, even if I love both dudes, and AJ, I don't even know if AJ. I'll put it this way: if AJ wins, I'll be surprised, but just kind of confused.
I know.
Whereas if Edge won, I'd have been like, oh, that's a cool story right there. I'm kind of excited for that. So at this point, even if AJ wins, I'll be like, oh, that's cool. I like AJ, but that's kind of weird. What are they going to do with that? They still haven't swapped the women's titles, by the way.
No.
I don't know.
Maybe at Night of Champions, something will happen with all that. I don't know.
I was thinking that too. I wonder, given that they haven't, I mean, we can sort of pivot to that. Bianca Belair got blasted in the face with Asuka's mist. Asuka is on where is Asuka now? Is she on?
She is on SmackDown.
Yeah, it was kind of a disappointing thing because Bianca is there and she already beat her, but I guess they're just diving back into that feud.
Yeah. I'll say this. Maybe one reason that they aren't swapping the titles yet is because Bianca, I mean, it's still a little ways away. She's like a little bit more than a month away from besting Trish Stratus's record. Like post 2000 record of title reign for a women's champion. It's like 447, 448 days. So maybe they're just going to kind of wait till she breaks that record and then they'll do the trade. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking maybe if Rhea gets, because does Rhea have a contender right now? She just beat She
beat
Zelina Vega. Yeah. Did they set up anybody on Raw last week? Natalya. Yeah. Right. So maybe at Night of Champions, they'll do, for Rhea's title. It's entirely possible what you're saying is right about Bianca. They might just put this off. But maybe at Night of Champions, they won't do a belt swap, but Bianca versus Asuka will be now for the SmackDown women's title, and Rhea, they'll just sort of put it on the line. It won't be... Nobody will walk in as champion at that point, maybe.
Yeah, who knows?
They'll do something weird like that. Instead of a title swap, and then they'll have to defend it in 2 weeks anyways.
Yeah.
I think that's a possibility.
Yeah, it's possible. That's possible. I'm not sure how they're going to handle that, but I guess we'll see. That's all you can say.
You just sorted out. You're like Kendall last night watching everything play out.
Oh, I know.
You just wasn't saying anything the entire time.
Wasn't saying anything. So let's talk about this. This is interesting. Interesting development. Like this news, I think, kind of broke on social media before it was revealed on SmackDown. At the time, it was a bit of a head scratcher.
Oh, sure.
So we're getting Roman Reigns versus Solo Sikoa challenging for the undisputed tag team titles against Sami and Kevin Owens. Now, historically, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens don't do the Saudi shows.
Correct.
And it seemed like there had been some reopening of diplomatic relations between Saudi Arabia and Syria, I believe. And I don't know if that's the tension between those countries was the reason that Sammy couldn't or wouldn't do the Saudi shows previously. But something has changed. And not to say that the reopening of the diplomatic relations between those companies is the sole reason. Two countries, sorry, is the sole reason Sammy is able to or is doing it now. Something has changed, though. So I guess the idea is like people are trying to find what has changed.
Yeah, sure.
Whether it be within WWE or in the geopolitical stage that is leading to this match happening. Because when it was first announced, we were like, Sammy and Kevin don't do the Saudi shows. Doesn't make any sense.
So we do have to sort of mention that somebody brought that up on the Friday show. I think hey, did you guys see this rumor? Mm-hmm. And I laughed it off because there are so many Twitter accounts these days that will vague tweet or they'll have like a 10% track record where it's like they'll put so much shit out there. And this from what I understand, this came from like kind of an account like that originally. I just saw a graphic that looked like it was suited for like a Facebook a Facebook wrestling group that said Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa are going to face off against the tag team champions. And so I was like, look, if it's confirmed, great. If not, it's just another one of those tweets that comes from one of these accounts that just sort of vague tweets or whatever. Sometimes, half the time they get shit wrong. In this case, whoever it was got it right. Good for them. What are the odds that the titles change hands?
Right. Given how utterly humiliated the Usos were during the segment on SmackDown, your first thought is they're going to cost Roman and Solo the titles. But then what's even more humiliating than what we saw on SmackDown? It's Roman and Solo winning the titles and rubbing them in the Usos' faces.
Dude, I get the feeling like the obvious answer is also the least interesting one, and that's the Usos are going to fuck up and cost Roman and Solo the titles.
Yeah.
The much more fun one, especially because like Sammy and Kevin have kind of cooled since they won the titles. The much more fun one would be Roman winning those titles.
Since Elimination Chamber, they seemingly, for the most part, have chosen the more obvious and less interesting route a lot of times in this particular story.
I hate when we fantasy book cool shit and then it doesn't happen.
I know, when it never comes to pass. I know.
Right, yeah.
I know.
I think, dude, Roman with 4 titles.
That'd be something else.
It would explode everybody's heads.
If you're going to do that, damn it, give us Roman with the world, at least contending for the World Heavyweight Championship.
I know! Cody versus Roman in the finals, cowards.
You could have Ultimo Roman with all the titles.
Yeah, I know. I think you do that. I don't think they will, but you should. You absolutely should. How amazing. And I'll be honest with you. I kind of want to get some of like the friendos to chime in on this as well. Storyline wise, the Bloodline is still good shit.
Yeah.
And it's only good shit because Cody lost at WrestleMania. Storyline wise, that was probably the right way to go because, man, Cody's more popular than ever. I think that loss probably only jazzed him up more for the crowds because they're like, oh, he lost. That sucks. Now we want you more than ever. Whereas the flip side of that, if he came out with those titles,
yeah,
I don't know. People are like, oh, okay, cool, right on. You got the titles. Now what?
I'll say this. As far as Cody, there could be the danger if he had won the titles at Mania that he'd be in a similar situation as Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn right now.
Right, yeah.
But on the other hand, if his first feud after winning the titles was Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, that's nothing. Yeah, you're right.
That's a pretty huge deal,
I agree. But Roman
as far as keeping momentum up.
Roman being able to hold these titles high and the Usos, now Jimmy has typically been like, hey, let's just play along with this. He sees his brother getting like verbally and physically abused by Roman, but he's like, look, let's just fall in line and we'll ride this out. Well, the shit's hitting the fan now. He's the one getting pie-faced by Roman. And Roman's supposed to like have the freaking title, or Roman's gonna have all the titles here, man. Oh, wow.
That could be good.
I'll be honest with you. I'd love to see it. I think it would heighten the tension. It would heighten the drama and make the story better. I don't care about, he's hogging all the titles, Roman. No, if it's good for the story, I'm about it. And I honestly believe Roman, had he lost to Cody, we wouldn't get because then the Usos would be like, oh, you lost too, dog. You lost too, Us. Well, they can't say that. They look like clowns now. They look like fuck-ups now.
I know.
And Roman holding those titles, I think that could be pretty intriguing stuff, man.
Yeah, that could be some really good stuff. It's really good stuff. It remains to be seen. And I'll say this. I know there were some complaints on social media over the weekend about Roman not defending his titles at Night of Champions.
Oh, I don't care about that.
Here's what it does. It gives Seth and AJ an opportunity to hopefully main event.
Yeah.
And then first night, this belt's going to be active. It's main eventing a pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's pretty huge for the new World Heavyweight Championship. And if you want to make it seem like that belt is on equal footing as the undisputed title, it's got to main event pay-per-views, even when Roman is on the card.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Now, let me ask you that. It's got to, right? That's got to.
I would hope so.
The World Heavyweight Championship. That's got to.
I would hope so. I'd hope that's one of the reasons they got Roman and Solo contending for the tag titles rather than Roman defending the title himself.
Where do you put Roman in the card first? He takes care of business and then leaves.
Could be.
I think it's probably what you do.
Yeah, yeah.
But if Roman Reigns on the card, isn't there a rule that he has to make?
If Roman and Solo win, have it first. If the Usos cost them the tag titles, have it right before the main event.
Has Roman Reigns during this iteration? I'm not directly asking you. I'm just asking if anybody knows this.
Yeah.
Has Roman Reigns, since he's been Tribal Chief, ever not main evented a card that he's been on?
Him and Seth didn't main event when they had their title match at the Rumble.
The Rumble main evented, which is significant. I mean, that is, they could have had Roman main event that show. Yeah. Okay. Because the Rumble doesn't always main event.
Always, no. Given the finish of that match, though, it makes sense why they didn't close the show.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Huh. Interesting.
Could have been other times. That's the one that pops in my head.
Yeah. We already talked about Asuka and Bianca, so let's just go ahead and dive into it. Edge versus AJ Styles versus Rey Mysterio. Triple threat for to advance to the quarterfinals for the brand championship.
Semifinals.
This is the quarterfinals. Yeah. What'd you think of this match, dude?
There were some really creative spots.
I thought philosophically this was a really good match. I think you're dealing with 40 times. There's 120 years of experience in there, but also 120 years of these guys can't go quite as fast as they used to be able to. So some of it was kind of clunky, but it was very creative. They were trying their damnedest to do some really fun stuff. It's not like you have 3 speedballs in there.
No. If this was Rey Mysterio circa, I don't know,
97,
97, AJ Styles circa 2006, in Edge circa 2006, maybe 2.
Yeah.
That this would have been amazing, lightning fast.
If they would have had, Vikingo, Commander, and I don't know, the Speedball.
Leo Rush.
Yeah, Leo. Oh my God, Leo Rush do this match. It'd be a 6-star classic.
Oh yeah.
And I thought this was a lot of fun. Very creative. I'm not dumping on this match, but it's the old timers in there doing the shit.
No, I hear you. Yeah,
you and I playing basketball out there. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to get,
No, you're not going to get an all-pro level of performance.
Athleticism, anyways. The creativity was off the charts.
Yeah, it was great. It was great, and there was a lot of really fun creative spots. But you're right. It seemed like, it was slowed down a little bit.
Yeah,
pace, but I think they were going after, and I'm sure they put on the pace was the best they could.
Dude, no, look, they gave it everything they had, and I loved it. It's tons of fun. I love seeing because look, in my opinion, it's funny because people have pointed out the average age of a WWE main event match versus the average age of an AEW one. I'll take the old wrestlers any day of the week because their promos are always just grisly and better, and they're usually leathery. I like the older wrestlers, man. I love it. But they were just trying so much shit in this match, sunset flips into German suplexes, the other.
And even though it was wildly inventive and creative, and some of the sequences of moves were really intricate and interesting, there was only one mess up. There was one. and towards the end. Otherwise, it was
the Ray Edge thing, yeah.
Yeah, where I think Edge was supposed to hit Ray with a spear, but
I think he was too, yeah.
Didn't quite hit. But otherwise, no, everything was super crisp.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can't fault really anything about the match. In the end, AJ hits Edge with the phenomenal forearm after Edge hits Ray with I think it was supposed to be a spear off a top rope move. AJ gets the win. He advanced to the semifinals against the winner of the next bout, which was Sheamus, Bobby Lashley, Austin Theory. Bobby Lashley just literally got driven headfirst into the ring steps and had a huge welt on his head and was bleeding all over the place.
Such a great visual. Bobby's awesome, man.
Yeah, he is awesome.
Yeah, this was cool stuff. And I like that they sort of reference the house show circuit backlash pay-per-view match here with
the finish,
with the finish. So wait, what was it? It was Sheamus. So Sheamus is going for a razor's edge. Theory escapes that, rolls up. Sheamus gets two. Sheamus responds with a running knee. He calls for a bro kick. Lashley hits him with a spear. Theory posts Lashley, covers Sheamus, but Sheamus kicks out. Theory then looks for A-Town down on Lashley. He escapes that, hits a big spine buster, locks on the hurt lock. Theory tries to escape. Sheamus hits Theory with a bro kick. Lashley then throws Sheamus out of the ring and covers Theory to get the win. So kind of interesting. Sheamus's finisher was able to get Theory, but Bobby's finisher couldn't get Sheamus. That's a feud now that they're on the same brand that I think a lot of people would be very interested in.
It's going to be interesting. Yeah, for sure. Then we get Adam Pearce on the phone backstage talking about Seth versus AJ's final for the World Heavyweight Championship. Then Grayson Waller steps in, and Pearce is like, "Hey, congratulations being drafted to SmackDown." And Waller says, "Well, SmackDown should be congratulated for drafting me, even though it was a little bit later than it should have been. And I know how you can make this up to me. Whoever wins between Styles and Lashley or Rollins, Styles and Lashley in the main event tonight will be my guest on the Grayson Waller effect next week." And Pearce says, "That's a hell of an idea. Next week, it is official."
What do we know? Do you know where they are next week?
No,
because if it's a crowd that really needs something to get going, Grayson Waller effect's gonna it's gonna be crickets. But if it's a crowd that's really into it and they're into, like, if it's like a Chicago crowd or something like that, or a Philadelphia crowd that like is wise to like NXT, then they might really help Grayson Waller make an impact. But if it's one of those crowds that's just not really into it that much,
let me see where it's at.
It's going to be crickets.
Real quick. But next week's in Columbia, South Carolina.
Yeah, I have no idea. Is that known as a hotbed?
I don't know. Raw tonight is from Greensboro, North Carolina.
Okay. All right. So yeah, dude, I don't know. Yeah, that's good. I mean, good for Grayson Waller. They got him doing the Grayson Waller effect. I have no idea if he had any sort of lingering issues with his last match there in NXT, because I know he had a busted knee or whatever. No, that's awesome. Hopefully the crowd will take to him. I think Grayson Waller's got a ton of potential, man.
Yeah, he does. He really does. He really does. After that, we get Baron Corbin versus Cameron Grimes.
And beforehand, he had a promo. He said, "Look, everybody, it's Cameron Grimes."
No, Corbin had a promo.
Oh, Corbin had a promo. That's right. I just okay. So Corbin says, "Look, everybody." Got to do my Corbin voice now. "It's Cameron Grimes, SmackDown's very last pick in the draft. I'm surprised you showed up. That takes guts. You're trying to make a name for yourself. I get it. But get this, in 2 minutes, you're going to be flat on your back, wishing you were back in NXT. And the irony with that is, Larson, 1 minute later, as soon as they rang the bell, whoop-ha, cave in, Cameron Grimes gets the win. He gets his finish in immediately, and he gets out of Dodge. Do the moon.
Indeed. I know. Baron Corbin, gatekeeper now on Friday Night SmackDown.
Oh, yeah, man. You think that's going to be a longer feud, though, at least for one match, huh?
Yeah, I don't feel terribly confident that Baron's going to win any of them, though.
No, he's not going to win any of them. No.
He'll get his heat back attacking Grimes, probably beating the hell out of him, but he's not winning any of the matches.
I think, next week it'll be like Grimes versus either like a local enhancement guy or somebody for like Dolph. Well, I was going to say Dolph, but I was going to say like Ashanti Adonis, like one of the Hit Row guys. Maybe Top Dollar, something like that. But then Baron Corbin's going to attack. Yeah. There's my prediction right there.
There's your prediction. Yeah. Then we get the Bloodline coming to the ring. Roman gets the mic from Heyman to ask the crowd to acknowledge him.
Acknowledge me.
They do. He continues. He says, "You see, that's what greatness garners. It garners respect. But regardless of reactions, this is one thing that must be respected. There's a lot of talk about royal families or families of importance in the wrestling business, but let's be honest here. There's only one. Every man in this ring main evented both nights of WrestleMania. I know you're saying that we're only doing the 2-night. We've only been doing the 2-night thing for so long, but let's just say this: we're the only ones who will ever main event both nights of WrestleMania. Success doesn't stop there. We kept pushing along into Backlash. Even when the tribal chief isn't there, somebody has to step up. And who stepped up this time? And Jimmy's back there. You see him in the background. He's like, yeah, he's going to mention me.
He's like, all right, here it comes. Here comes my flowers. Nope.
Yeah. He says Solo stepped up.
Oof, yeah.
I got to tell you, there's a little concern when we got Solo on the road because, let's be honest, he's in the ring with the very best of all time. When you're thrown to the deep end, you can either sink or you can swim, and let's be honest, Solo swims like a shark.
Oh, yeah, like a new whale.
Like a new whale, yes. If there's ever a problem, he eliminates it. Look at the Riddle problem. Handled, right? And then Solo, he doesn't have a mic. He mentioned something to Roman.
He just sort of says, not the Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn thing. And Roman says, what? Oh, that's how good he is. He's still concerned with the Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn problem. Solo, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, don't worry about that. They're not a problem. Come on, they're not a problem. And the crowd starts chanting Sammy, and Roman sort of gets upset, and he laughs it off. He's like, oh, don't listen to them. They're not the problem. But there is a real problem. The problem are your brothers. And you see Jay immediately put his head down, and his shoulders go up, and he crawls into a shell.
Yep.
It's a brilliant little bit of character acting right there from Jay. Whenever Roman triggers that, Jay retreats into his shell.
Yep.
And Jimmy's just sort of beside himself. He's like, oh, man.
He's almost trying to laugh it off like he thinks Roman's joking with him.
Yeah, right, exactly. So Roman walks over to them and says, what'd you think was going to happen, huh? You thought you were going to lose in the main event of WrestleMania and we're going to talk about it? You thought you were going to beg for a rematch and for whatever reason you dedicate it to me? And then you lose? You dedicate a match to me and you lose. Why are you dedicating a tag team victory to somebody who's not even a tag team? I'm the greatest singles champ of all time, not a tag team. We literally have Hall of Fame tag teams in our family, and you dedicate it to me? You disrespect our family and dedicate a tag team match to me? And Jimmy, without a mic, is trying to explain himself, and he's like you said, he's almost like trying to laugh it off. Like I thought part of what he was like is like, you got to be joking. Like you're just clowning around, right?
Yeah. And
so Roman, he's like, oh yeah, no, we're joking. Oh no, that's a little bit later. So he says, you come out here. He says, I leave and take a little time for me. And what do? You come out here and you embarrass me. You come out here and you misrepresent me, the bloodline, and our family. You know better than this. Apologize. And Jimmy looks over at Jay and he's like trying to talk to him. And he says, no, don't look at him. You look at me. He says, I don't want to hear anything come out of your mouth unless it's I'm sorry or I apologize, my tribal chief. And Jimmy again tries to laugh it off. He's looking at Jay and he's like, oh, are you laughing? He says, I'd apologize if I was you. If I was you, I'd listen to me and apologize. I'm here to make you smile. I'm a clown. We're running back that commercial again. I'm here to pop you. I'm a clown. And he pie faces Jimmy. And he says, who's the clown? You going to do something? And so Jimmy just glares at Roman, takes a step towards him, and Jay gets in his way, like immediately. Mm-hmm. He says, we apologize, Zeus. He says, you give us one more shot, we'll bring the championships back to the bloodline. Roman says, you're right. The tag titles will come back to the bloodline. Wise man, fill him in. So Heyman goes and he asks for the mic. He gets the mic. He says, the tribal chief shows up here tonight with the game plan already in hand. The tribal chief this week authorized me to pull every string to flex our bloodline muscle with the board of directors, and here it is. The undisputed tag titles come home to the bloodline at Night of Champions, and the Usos are visibly like, okay, yeah, this is our moment. This is our time. When Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn will lose the tag titles to Solo and your tribal chief Roman Reigns. And they're like, what the fuck?
Usos not happy.
And then Roman takes the mic back and says, at Night of Champions, Solo and I do what we always do. We represent, we hold it down for the bloodline. And I dedicate that victory in our tag team title reign to the greatest tag team of all time as he's looking at the Usos, Afa and Sika, the Wild Samoans.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, and Jay just looks down. And Jimmy looks down.
Yeah.
Ooh,
It's good stuff.
that was good stuff.
Probably the best Bloodline segment since WrestleMania.
Oh,
Well, easily
1,000%.
since WrestleMania.
Yeah,
I think so.
absolutely. Yeah, this was up there. This was up there with like the trial of Sami Zayn and all this shit. This was up there, man.
Yeah, it was really good. It was really good. Imagine if the Usos. Here's one thing you might get if the Usos cost Roman and Solo the tag titles. We might get a trial for the Usos.
We might get that. And let me ask you this now. Is this leading to Roman and Solo versus the Usos?
Maybe. Well, I think regardless is heading that direction. If Roman and Solo wins, then I think the Usos are still be driven to get those titles back because even if they have to beat their brother and their cousin for them, that's the only way they think they're going to get Roman's respect back.
Man, I don't know. I think this is going to play out sooner or later. I just don't know if it's going to be sooner or later. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, is it going to be 6 months from now? Is it going to be SummerSlam? Is it going to be a while from now? Or is that something they're going to head into sooner than that? I don't know.
You know, I wonder if a lot of that, too, it depends on the time frame of when Roman's going to drop those titles. If it's at SummerSlam, then you expect the story of the Bloodline falling apart to start to accelerate and really get down to it heading into the summer. If it's something they're going to wait till Mania next year or longer, then they'll probably take their time with it.
Yeah, I'm legit curious to know if they are taking this step by step, or if they, you and I were pretty convinced, after WrestleMania it's going to be a while before we see Roman Reigns. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know if they have a plan or if they're taking it bit by bit, step by step.
Who knows? Next, we have a Damage Control interview, and Bayley says, Roman and I have so much in common. We're both Grand Slam champs, and we're both exceptional leaders even when things don't go exactly as planned. And Io this whole time is just rolling her eyes at basically everything Bayley says.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So Bayley continues, says, but Io, don't worry about it. I really thought you had a backlash. I put the blame myself. I pushed you way too hard. Maybe you weren't ready yet.
Not the lesson to take from that.
No.
I mean, putting it on yourself, yes, but messing up the match is really the lesson to take from that.
The lesson to be learned from this. Bayley continues, but like Roman, sometimes leaders need to take things in their own hands, and that's actually exactly what I'm going to do tonight with Dakota. When her and I exert our dominance and win back the women's tag titles, so Kayla, why don't you go tell Roman that Smackdown belongs to Damage Control?
Mm-hmm.
So then Bayley and Dakota leave, and Io just kind of lets out a heavy sigh.
Yeah. You always got to look at Io's. Because and Dakota's always like, oh God, because she doesn't want them to break up. She wants everything to be smooth. Yep. And meanwhile, Io is like, I'm kind of over Bayley.
Mm-hmm.
I'm over it.
Yep.
After that, we have the Usos backstage. They walk up to the LWO and they're chuckling. And Jay's like, is something funny to you guys? And Wild's like, we weren't talking to you. We were talking in Spanish. Jimmy says, you must have saw what happened out there, so everything's funny. How about I kick you in the face? Is that a joke? They all start arguing. Ray and Santos step in. Santos says, it's not our fault your tribal chief doesn't love you no more. Ouch. He says, do we have a problem here? And the Usos just sort of walk away.
Yeah. I was happy that Santos got to kind of take the lead in this instance.
Yeah, I know. Me too. Yeah. They got to give him a higher profile, I think.
Exactly. Then we got Liv and Raquel defending the women's tag titles against Damage Control. And they retain this particular bout. So down towards finish, Bayley pulls over Dakota into her corner. No, the other way around. Dakota pulls Bayley in corner. No, that was right. Bayley pulls Dakota. Tags in. And then she's like, hey, Io, do this. So then Dakota grabs one of the tag titles and tries to get in the ring. That's just to distract the ref. So Io grabs the other tag title, tries to hand it to Bayley. Mm-hmm. But then Raquel is ringside, rips the belt away from Io, who's standing on the apron.
Yeah.
Liv pushes Bayley into Io, knocking her off the apron. And then Liv rolls up Bayley to get the win.
Yeah, it's a big old mess, dude.
It really is. I like the idea that if Bayley would just focus on winning the match.
Yeah, right.
And not trying to cut quarters, they would probably be more successful as a team.
Yeah. But it's all she knows.
Yep.
So after that, the Brawling Brutes are backstage trying to cheer up Sheamus. They're going to go get some pies.
Pies?
Isn't that what he said? Oh, pints.
No, pints.
He said pints.
Pints.
I had the volume on kind of low, and I was like, pies? What kind of pie? Like, I don't know if they meant like you know, because they got what are those meat pies?
Like shepherd's pie?
Yeah, shepherd's pie. Yeah,
that's good stuff.
Yeah, I know. So I don't know. I thought maybe they're going to have some shepherd's pie.
Could be shepherd's pie. Or it could
Pints
be
makes
pie.
a lot more sense.
Yeah,
though.
pints.
But maybe they found a pub. Pie. Maybe they found a pub that like specializes in some shepherd's pie.
There's one of those locally.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Great place.
Oh, I know. Absolutely.
So anyways,
are you talking about the Fat Rabbit?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
Dude, that place. There are no misses on that menu.
No. Including the shepherd's pie. Anyway, so Pretty Deadly steps in. And Sheamus is like, which one of you is Pretty and which one of you is Deadly? And Elton Prince says, you know, we're new here and we're trying to fill out some forms because he's got like a clipboard with some forms trying to fill out. And they would start talking a bunch of crap to Butch and Ridge. Just tons of shit.
Yeah. You know, I will say this about Ridge. He is developing a personality. I mean, it's firmly like friend, but but yeah, they were talking shit about like, you know, Butch being like just a grunting fool, and then and I forget what they said about Ridge.
It was the same about Ridge. It was about him being a dullard. Yes,
they just called them stupid. Oh man. So, anyways, then they went to go there get their pints or pies.
Yeah.
After that, we had a Bianca Belair championship celebration. Of course, they're in her hometown, so she gets to the ring. Crowd's going crazy for her. Poses on the turnbuckle. But then Asuka sort of interrupts where Bianca's able to really say anything. Yeah. And she offers up her hand. And it is clear as day from the second she steps out on that ramp. Yeah. She has got a mouthful of mist.
Oh, yeah. Like she's not smiling. She doesn't say a word. Yeah, I know.
Doing that shit, right? And so she comes down. She offers up her hand for a handshake. Doesn't say a word again. Just and then just unloads. Just
it was a ton of
mouthful. Just so much mist. And Bianca sold it like $1 million. She did such a great job. And EMTs come down there, got the water and the towel, and Bianca, of course, because she's in so much pain, she just shoves it away instead of no, just accept the water and the towel. Come on.
Maybe
Bianca.
she thought Greg from Succession would put some LaCroix.
Asuka had some wasabi mixed into her mist.
Yeah. Well, that's what Asuka was saying. That like it wasn't just mist; it was like pepper infused,
chili
mist.
powder or something or whatever it was. Yeah,
on Twitter.
Yeah,
yeah. That was funny last night.
It was so ridiculously comical.
It was
in the middle of just like one of the most tense episodes of Succession. You gotta love that, man. You gotta.
It's not that lemony. He takes a drink.
He cracked it open. I was like, why is he cracking that open? It needs to be a bottle of water. I know.
I thought it was soda at first. Like, Greg, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm. No, it's not that lemony.
Oh my gosh. Then we go to commercial. We come back. Bianca's getting tended to by trainers in the medical room, and then we have our main event. Bobby Lashley versus AJ Styles. I think they must have, stitched up Lashley a little bit.
Some super glue.
I knew there was still some blood on his face, but he had a good sized welt on his head.
Mm-hmm.
But I was somewhat surprised they had Lashley more or less take the clean loss here.
I mean, they don't do that very often for Lashley, so when they do, it's like, oh wow, okay, that's a pretty big deal right there. I think also his, because his thing cracked open a little bit, didn't he? He was bleeding towards the finish of this.
Yeah.
That's a great visual. And AJ is an accomplished wrestler, been around for a long time. So in this case, it's like, okay, that does make a little bit of sense. Kind of surprised that like the OC, given that AJ has the OC, didn't come into it. And even after AJ won, he won with was a phenomenal forearm, right? Yeah. Because Lashley got posted. Oh yeah, he hit that running knee against the ring post. Because Lashley always posts himself, and then AJ hit the running knee against the ring post, which is a pretty nasty move. Yeah, and then he hits that phenomenal forearm. So that's a big win for AJ going into this tournament to try to make it a bit more special. But yeah, afterwards, they do all the match cards. For Night of Champions, now that it's all set, AJ goes up the ramp and he's hovering next to the World Heavyweight Championship up there, and Mia Yim and the rest of the OC come out and they celebrate with him in a very face way. They're all, it's not like, oh, we're menacing, we're gonna throw up our two sweets. They're all just like legitimately celebrating with them. So I'm like, it'd be kind of nice for AJ to be like a bad guy walking into this, right?
Give them a bit of an edge.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah,
not the wrestler edge, not Edge. Don't have Edge join the OC.
a bit of an edge, like, attitude,
Some grit.
Some grit, some leathery grit.
Yeah.
That I like in my old wrestlers.
Exactly. Exactly.
Man.
We also had Rampage on Friday. They jammed a lot into this edition of Rampage.
They did. Yes, they did.
It was good to see Swerve.
It was great to see Swerve in the main event. That was awesome. What do you think of the Mogul Embassy? You like the Mogul Embassy?
It is a huge upgrade from
it's a massive upgrade.
Parker and Trench. We never even got to see Trench wrestle.
No, we didn't. We have no idea. Maybe he's like fucking Luthez. We'll never know.
We'll never know. You could see the chemistry starting to develop between especially Swerve and Prince Nana.
I like that too.
And I like that.
I think that works, yeah.
I would hope the more reps that Swerve gets out there with Cage and Khan and what's the other guy's name? It escapes me. I apologize.
Toa?
Yes.
Toa?
The more reps they get out there together, you'd think their chemistry would start to develop.
Yeah.
We think the world of Swerve here.
Yeah.
Going in Raw.
No,
Dude
he's
could
awesome.
be main eventer.
Yeah.
Should be main eventer.
Yeah.
And this is a faction for him that is far more feared and feels like could really inflict real damage on their opponents as opposed to Parker and Trench.
Yeah.
And it's across the board. It's a massive, massive step up for Swerve.
Yeah, no, I agree. I was thinking about it this weekend, and I was like, man, AEW, they really could have used Swerve as like sort of like a variation on Bray Wyatt, the way that WWE has, like a guy who has like a lot of mystique, danger. I mean, obviously book him better than they do Bray Wyatt because Bray Wyatt, that dude just spins some wheels. But yeah, so far I like what I see. I kind of wish that he would. The thing that I did like about the Mogul affiliates is that he recruited his own guys.
Yeah.
And I think it could be interesting for him to do that as opposed to just sort of combining him with some pre-established guys. But no, like you said, the chemistry is getting good. They're way better wrestlers, obviously. Like Brian Cage is such a good wrestler.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Nana, I really like Nana. I think he's really good too. And the other guys, they got the size, they got the look, and they're good wrestlers too. So it'll be interesting to see them develop, more of a chemistry. But the bottom line is Swerve, they just need to they need to make them dangerous by have them beating big names.
Yeah.
And Dark Order, sure, why not? But they need to be able to like hang with the bigger names. Exactly. And that's what I want to see them work on with them.
Yes, totally. I mean, they need to go back and completely retcon that match that Swerve had with Dustin Rhodes.
Yes. Yeah.
Where there was a DQ finish. No, Swerve should have beat him.
I honestly don't even think they should have had Swerve job to Darby Allin. I understand Darby is now in the main event of a big pay-per-view. Yeah. I get that. But it's like, you want to keep a guy hot. You don't have him take a clean loss to anybody.
Nope.
or about to take a clean loss to Dustin Rhodes.
I know. I mean, really, what they just need to really start moving forward with this story with Keith Lee, because it's been so mostly stop, but they'll start for a little bit, go a direction, kind of realize, man, this isn't working.
Yeah.
Go back to something else. I mean, it's a really simple story. They really overcomplicated.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And it could have been huge for both of them, and now it's several months past when the story really should have hit a crescendo.
So that's got to happen at Double or Nothing.
You would think so, but
that's got to
happen. It was
going
to happen in the last pay-per-view.
It's got to happen at Double or Nothing.
It has to. Yeah, it has to.
It has to.
But at this point, has it lost? I know. I mean, the image of Keith Lee walking out with a stanchion is impressive. Those things are heavy.
I do love the name Stanchion.
It's a great name.
Yeah.
Thanks to Excalibur, I know what they're called finally.
Right, yeah, I didn't really know what it was. A giant
at this
pipe.
Point, no. At this point, several months after Swerve stomped that cinder block on Keith Lee, like that feud should have been like red hot at the time.
Do you think Keith Lee let the gray grow to be to like serve as a metaphor?
Maybe. It could be.
He's like, this fucker Tony Khan is like putting this shit on hold too long. I'm gonna chill on the Just for Men. Gonna let the gray grow out just to give people an indication of how long this feud's been going on.
I know. I mean, I get the idea of Keith Lee being out for I don't know a couple weeks because he got a cinder block crushed on his chest.
Yeah,
I get that.
Yeah,
but he was gone for a long time.
Dude, he was gone for a long time. Yeah,
a long time.
Yeah,
and you run the risk of a storyline which could be really huge cooling off too much by waiting too long.
Yeah.
And then when they come back to it, Dustin Rhodes is involved. No disrespect to Dustin Rhodes, but he's involved for some reason.
Oh, he's great, but he's involved for some reason, which we
I don't know why. Sure, exactly. And then you put Swerve in a faction with two guys that don't really seem like they know how to wrestle very well. The idea of that Swerve is supposed to be like a threat.
Mm-hmm.
And Swerve, his character is. Because he's damn good. He's got tons of charisma.
Oh, dude, he's got everything.
He's got everything. But then his affiliates are two guys that don't really know how to wrestle, seemingly.
Hey, I'll be honest, though. Hey, be honest. Trench had a cool look.
Oh, he did, yeah.
He had a great look. Out of the other guys, whatever. Like, I just know the other guy from being with Joe Gacy, right? But, like, Trench, I didn't know anything about him. He has a bunch of face tattoos.
It's not fair for me to say that Trench doesn't know how to wrestle because we never saw him wrestle.
Bro, I'm telling you, they're keeping the next Luthez from us.
Maybe that's like he's so close to being this close to being the next Luthez. Just give him a couple more months, 3 more months of training, and he's going to be.
He's there.
He's going to be out there like just twisting people into pretzels.
Oh man, I'm telling you.
You know, but then that's that one tag match that Swerve had with Parker, and you're like, okay, Parker, you can't really wrestle.
You can't. You're stumbling around out there. Yeah, right.
You're putting Parker with Swerve was bringing Swerve down.
Let me ask you something. I don't mean to. I should just ask you this question in private, but I'm going to do it here.
All right.
So, like, I read about the awesome news that Will Washington's part of the creative team, right?
Yeah.
And Meltzer, I think in the newsletter, had mentioned, the creative team basically is Sanjay Dutt, QT Marshall, and now Will Washington, right?
And Tony Khan.
Well, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, Tony Khan's brain trust. Yeah. So for the longest time, it was Sanjay Dutt and QT Marshall, right? Mm-hmm. Sanjay Dutt's great because if he's doing his own shit with all that stuff with Jarrett and them, thumbs up. You're good.
Absolutely.
The other 50% of that creative brain trust
about
is
QT,
is the same guy bringing us this QTV garbage.
This episode outside of the Hobbs interview was awful.
Is that not a problem for AEW when, like, if you're in control of your own shit, if you're in the room and you're like, hey, then we're gonna do like a QTV thing, right? And like I've focused all my good energy on this QTV stuff because it involves me. That's what people do. And this is what you have. That's a problem.
It is.
Because the QTV stuff is garbage. And if that's the guy who's like, and he's doing his own stuff and he's like insisting that this QTV stuff is in there.
I know.
Take yourself off TV, man. Just take yourself off TV.
I know. This is the type of stuff that normally would be relegated to the QTV segments.
Mm-hmm.
You think we would have been relegated to Darker Elevation.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And I understand they want to develop Hobbs into a main eventer. At least I hope that's the goal.
Right. Yeah.
Because he should be.
Yeah.
Powerhouse Hobbs is outstanding. Huge fan of Powerhouse Hobbs here going in Raw.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if the idea is that they're going to have Hobbs be involved in the QTV thing as a means to elevate Hobbs, whoever thought that idea would work shouldn't be involved in creative matters, honestly.
At all. No.
Period.
No, period. They shouldn't do any creative writing on their own. They shouldn't have a sketchbook that you go to the coffee store. They shouldn't try to do creative stuff. They shouldn't try to be creative because it's not. You're not.
Yeah.
So maybe do something else.
This QTV stuff is helping nobody.
Maybe that person would be good at like just doing paperwork or something. Analytics,
I don't know.
Risk assessment. I don't know. But like anybody who would have suggested, I want Hobbs in QTV, that person's not creative and they shouldn't be in creative. I don't know who that person is.
Can't say for sure, I suppose.
I could probably take a guess.
We could probably put it together, yeah.
Yeah, but like, no. Like Ryan K. Lamier says how TK doesn't utilize somebody like Maria Kanellis. And creatives behind me. Who said this here? Zondo says you don't have Malachi Black or somebody doing like helping with creative. Like you can't tell me QT is on TV, right? So evidently he could be part of the Brain Trust and be on TV.
Yeah.
We know Malachi's like one of the most creative guys in wrestling.
Absolutely.
You can't put him in part of your, you can't put Swerve as part of your Brain Trust.
I know. What about Jeff Jarrett? He literally booked creative for an entire promotion himself.
That'd be amazing.
Well, maybe he had writers. I don't know, but
Jarrett was Sanjay Dutt.
I know he was head of TNA for years. I know Jeff Jarrett has another office job. He heads up the live events department. But but still, he's someone with a ton of experience that you could tap for creative.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and actually booking creative for a promotion that actually got. I know for the longest time TNA was a bit of a punchline in the wrestling business, but
yeah, sure.
They're at its peak. What Impact was getting 2 million viewers a week, weren't they?
Oh, they were doing good. Yeah,
they were doing really good.
Yeah, they're doing.
And you
fine.
See some of the clips from nowadays of some of the stuff they did.
Yeah,
like Kevin Nash and
Motor City Machine Guns,
Alex Shelley.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff they did was hilarious.
Oh, it was great. Yeah, right.
Zondo here mentions Chris Daniels, someone else with tons of experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know.
Involved in major wrestling television.
Right, exactly. Not just doing Ring of Honor or whatever he's doing. Yeah.
I just don't. I don't.
Like out of all the minds you got there, you got the guy who makes QTV. That's like 50% of your Brain Trust, or now 33% of your Brain Trust.
Mm-hmm.
Get out of there.
Don't get
out of there.
Don't get it.
I don't understand it, man. Maybe he's just like a good networker. Maybe he's just some guys like that. It's like I've known. Yeah, I think some people are just really good at like everything you need to be in that position, except the thing that matters most in that position.
That could be.
Yeah.
That could be.
So,
I don't know. But yeah. Seeing the QTV this week was.
Oh, it's terrible. It's so
awful.
Bad.
It was awful.
Yeah, it's really bad.
It was awful. And the fact that Hobbs is involved with this when he should be doing something way more substantial.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Is pretty lame. It's pretty lame.
Yeah. Yup. So Rampage kicked off with the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass fighting against the Butcher, the Blade, and Kip Sabian. Of course, the Acclaimed get the win here with the mic drop. Bowens hits Kip with the Arrival, and then Caster follows the mic drop to get the win here. Mm-hmm. After that, we had that QTV bit. It was just awful.
None of the jokes landed at all.
No.
None of them. The only highlight was... sorry, go ahead.
It's like this god-awful, like, inside baseball, just referencing bullshit on Twitter that nobody cares about. And then, like, some weird, like, British humor, or an attempt at, like,
just
British cultural humor. It's just, God, it's terrible.
The only highlight was Hobbs got some interview time. He got 2 sentences.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right, exactly, yeah.
So Harley says, well, I interviewed Hobbs. And he says, everyone has a story, but it doesn't matter how many pages are in that story. It only matters who is holding the pen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he's sitting there reading the book of Hobbs.
Yeah.
I can't wait till Hobbs power bombs QT off the stage, throws him through some drywall. I don't know what.
I know, it'd be great. We've seen like a lot of those backyard wrestling videos. Have him go up on top of a roof. They got like the trampoline there at the bottom. Or like the bed mattress is what it used to be.
There you go. Yeah.
I don't see. Here's my thing. I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, no, that's the bummer part of this all.
Right, because 1/3 of your creative team is sitting there in the room saying, "No, I want to attach myself to this guy." It's like, but you're terrible. So stop ruining somebody else. And poor Hobbs, he can't speak up. He can't speak. You think Hobbs in there being like, "Oh, thank God they put me with QTV. Oh, I'm so happy about that." This poor guy. He's like, man, they had these really cool vignettes with me like rolling around my town.
Here's the thing: when he won the TNT title, they had a path to do that without QTV being involved. Full stop.
Yeah, I know.
You have Joe interfere.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
because he's pissed that Wardlow beat him.
Yeah,
easy. No. It's there.
QT was like, I see this guy. I want to get, I want to use him to get myself, a spot. Anyways, all the QT fans are in the comments now.
Oh, wow.
There ain't a damn one in our chat.
Nope.
Tony Storm versus Allison K. It's great to see Allison K on TV.
It is.
Love her. And yeah, this is a fun match. You know what I love about? I was watching this match, and the finish of this match reminded me of one of my favorite tropes in pro wrestling, because they put on a really fun match.
They did.
With all sorts of cool shit going on, right? And then Tony hits a German suplex, a hip attack, which, you know what I loved about her hip attack here? Allison put her hand up.
Yeah, I know.
Because when they take it straight up, it scares me.
I know. I mean, there's so little margin for error, it seeming like, because like the idea is whoever's taking it has their head between the two turnbuckles.
Yeah,
and
right.
so when Tony runs up, they can kind of lean back, protect their head a little bit. But if you're off by a little bit and your back of your head's touching the top turnbuckle, the bottom one, you're just taking all that.
Oh, dude, I know. It looks horrible.
It does.
But what I love about it, and it's a trope in pro wrestling that we get all the time, is when the finishing move doesn't come near to looking as destructive as like half the stuff in the actual match. Yeah. Like because the Storm Zero, it was just like, it's just a basic pile driver at this point, right? And they did it in a way that just seemed a little bit on the, I don't know, they just sort of got it up and then they did it.
Oh, I like how Tony Storm does it, because she doesn't hold the person up. It's just like bang.
It is like bang, but sometimes it just sort of looks like they fall on each other. And that's sort of how it looked in this case. And it was like, oh, Storm Zero, that's it. But it's like, yeah, it was just sort of a lazy pile driver. It didn't really do much.
It's on top of your head. It's compacting your spine, Steve.
Yeah, I know, but in this case, it didn't really look like that.
I don't know.
I like
how Tony Storm does it.
Okay, well, there you go. Devastating Storm Zero.
Devastating, absolutely devastating.
Devastating Storm Zero. But just in general in wrestling, don't you love that when like somebody has a finishing move?
I do.
That looks like 10% as damaging as like Seth Rollins, right? He does, and no, granted, Seth's a bad example because the stomp is like that looks devastating. That looks terrible. Yeah. That's a bad example. But anybody else who has like,
I'd say AJ Styles, because the Styles Clash looks way more like it should be a finisher as opposed to Phenomenal Form.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, that's a good example. The Phenomenal Form is just a forearm, right?
Yeah, it's springboard form. He doesn't deliver it well. He does. It looks great.
Yeah,
but it doesn't seem like it should be nearly as devastating as.
Actually, you know what,
someone on their face in midsection with your entire weight on top of them.
Probably the best example is the Rainmaker, because you see all the shit that Okada will do in his matches, like going up and doing like a second rope, German suplex or whatever.
Well, I mean, he has a tombstone as a regular part of his arsenal. He's got like a landslide. There's a lot of moves he does that look far more impactful than a Rainmaker. Yeah.
And the Rainmaker can sometimes look like the laziest move. He twirls somebody out, hits him with a lariat. Sometimes people sell it like it's crazy. Other people, they just sort of fall with it. Yeah. But it's like, I hit Rainmaker. It's good. I know sometimes it takes like 3 of them.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's a trope in pro wrestling I'll love always, because like, oh my God, they hit their move. And it's just like them falling over.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's like, okay, whatever. It doesn't really matter. The Worm, that's a great example. Yes. Yeah, any of Cena's finishers,
Yeah, I know. Then we got a promo from the Guns. They say they're pretty pissed off because not only they lose their titles, but the ref during their match with FTR wouldn't DQ them. Says they're not getting a rematch, but it's not going to take long for them to get back to where they were. And then Ethan Page steps in and says, hey, I hope you guys do get there. I got a problem. Hey. I got a problem and I need help. And Guns say, well, we'll hear you out.
Yeah, bad move. Bad move on Ethan Page's part.
Yeah, I know.
Then we had Kyle Fletcher, who's coming after Orange Cassidy's international title, taking on Action Andretti. Remember Action Andretti?
Yeah, he beat Chris Jericho, I think. It seems so long ago.
I think he beat Chris Jericho. Yeah, he did. Weren't we there for that? No,
not live. No, he wrestled Sammy Guevara when we were there.
Yeah, Sammy Guevara. Oh, that was a killer
Sammy Guevara
match,
beat him.
Yeah, so did Kyle Fletcher. He beat Action Andretti here.
Yeah, it's a good match, though.
No, it was a really good match. He gets spinning tombstone to get the win, and then he does the Orange Cassidy lazy thumbs up.
Yep.
After that, we had a recap for the Omega Mox Cage match. That was really nice. And then we had Hardy Party interview. And Matt says, I've had a wonderful week. My contract with the firm has been deleted. Private Party's contract with the firm has been deleted. And the entire time, Brother Zay is going,
Mm-hmm.
He says, and I have my brother back. And Jeff says, good to be back. And now that I'm back, we can get back to our final run and become the AEW Tag Champions for the first time ever. But then those dirty guns interrupt. Spa music.
Well, who has more spa music, the Guns or Hank and Frank?
It's the Guns. I'll have to listen to Hank and Frank a little bit more, but it's still the Guns. It literally sounds like music you'd hear at the spa.
It really does. Hank and Frank sounds like music from like a sci-fi. I'd say
that's
Cosmos.
A good one. Yeah.
Cosmos.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1 Contact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
That show, something like that. Anyways, the Guns come out and interrupt and said, we've been talking to Ethan in the back, and we decided that we're going to help him with this problem because Ethan wants to beat. They go down the line between Matt, Jeff, and Isaiah. Your ass, your ass, and your ass. And Colton says, well, so do we. And Matt says, well, it's good to see you step up. And again, Isaiah. Matt continues. Says, I don't have a problem fighting both of you, but I don't want to fight Ethan Page. I don't want to see Ethan Page. I've been trying to get away from him for 8 months, and I finally am. So the Guns say, well, we want this match. Matt says, well, how about this? When we win this match, then we'll control Ethan's contract. And the Guns, they go and commiserate for a little bit, come back and say, all right, we accept that on Ethan's behalf. And says, oh, by the way, we're the best brother tag team in AEW. As long as we're here, you, the Hardys, will never touch those titles. And then Matt says, we'll be more than happy to delete the Ass Boys.
The Ass Boys, yeah. So Ethan is now going to have his contract with the Hardy Party.
Seemingly.
Which I like. I think that's great.
Matt
Because
and Ethan Page have great chemistry.
They have terrific chemistry. Yeah, I think that'll be a lot of fun. After that, we had, of course, the standard split screen. I mean, sometimes they do it, sometimes they don't. Split screen interview for the main event, the Mogul Embassy and the Dark Order. Swerve says, ever since Keith Lee took out my previous affiliates, I had to work hard to find new replacements. But I wouldn't call them replacements. They're definitely an upgrade. Now I got the Ring of Honor Trios champions, as well as the man himself, Prince Nana, here under the Swerve legacy. Sorry to the Dark Order, but with expansion comes, and Prince Nana says, gentrification. And Cage says, it'd be like that sometimes, huh? Cage really does sort of stand out here. He's a phenomenal wrestler. He sort of stands out like a sore thumb. He's very like, I don't know, mid-aughts beefy wrestler with the freaking mohawk and stuff. And the other guys all look cool and shit.
I know. He needs to update his presentation a little bit.
I think he does. Yeah, man.
Yeah. And then Alex Reynolds responds and says, you guys are right. Expansion is necessary for any group in AEW, so we have a proposition for you. So then John Silver invites Mogul Embassy to join Dark Order.
Join the Dark Order.
And he continues, says, now think about it. You guys will look great in purple. Plus, you can bring your silly little hats. It's going to be great. You're going to love it. And then Prince Nana says, we're going to bring our hats. We're also going to put the Dark Order out of business tonight. And they definitely try to do that. The Mogul Embassy gets the win here over the Dark Order. But then at the end of the thing here, Gates of Agony come out to the ring. They take out Uno, and then Keith Lee comes out with a stanchion and Dustin Rhodes. With some lead pipes or something like that. They did a couple things.
Yeah, they had a couple things there at Home Depot that you'd find. And then the Mogul Embassy leave, but Swerve was all laughing them off, basically. So, yeah, whenever that match actually happens, at Double or better happen at Double or Nothing.
And not on the kickoff show, on the main card.
Yeah, no.
Main card.
Definitely.
They got about, 2 weeks to get the heat back for that feud?
Yeah, they got 2 weeks, yeah.
They better get on it.
Alexa Bliss Gamer here, which is a great name, in our YouTube chat says, you guys mean Hank and Tank. No. Look.
Hank and Frank.
You got to watch our AEW, our NXT reviews to know that they are, in fact, Hank and Frank. Yeah,
let me
exactly.
be frank.
Yeah, let me be frank. Let's answer some. Let me be frank. Let's answer some questions.
Let's do it. We got some super chats here, too. Guardian Ape here says, hey, friendos, much love and well wishes sent your... What?
Hey.
Much love and well wishes sent your way. I was wondering what retired wrestler would you like to see take a manager position for who? Sid. Give me Sid.
Yeah, Sid.
Don't care who he's managing.
Doesn't even have to be anybody. He just comes out.
He just comes be on TV.
He's on TV. He has a microphone. He's like, I've got a client. They're going to change the world. But then he just leaves and they're like, oh, who is it? And the next week, this client is something special. And he just leaves again. He's
talking about himself. That's the thing.
No, yeah, he doesn't say I have a client. He says, I know a man that's going to change the world. And everybody thinks, oh, wow, he's going to have some huge new signee. But no, he's just talking about, he's just putting himself, he's just doing a self promo every week.
Exactly. Exactly.
Let's see here. Dave Matushek says, considering that Roman is going for more gold, do you think he should go for the Intercontinental Championship and truly be king? Well, there's a problem with that.
Oh, Gunther has that.
Gunther has it. He could go for the U.S. title.
Yeah. Give him all the belts on SmackDown for sure.
Might as well. You might as well.
Cat Dad 7 here says, is a new tag team of Boogs and LA Knight Steve's dream team. Also, I vote that they're called Boogie Knights.
Who said that?
Cat Dad 7.
Cat Dad 7. Oh, my God. That's
Nights.
like fucking genius brain level right there. Oh,
Really
my
is,
God.
I know.
That's New Whale Inc. right there. Yeah, Boogie Nights. No, when I heard about them as a possible tag team, I thought to myself, number one, we're never going to get a proper LA Knight. They're never going to use him to his full potential, and it's nuts. It's absolutely crazy.
It is.
I wonder if Triple H would. That might be one of the things that Vince is like trying to put a halt to. That wouldn't shock me. He wanted him to be Max Dupree.
That's true.
That said, that is my favorite tag team of all time now. Boogie Nights, LA Knight, and Boogs. Are you kidding me? That's outstanding. I want it. I love it. Let's do it.
Straight to the top.
CE Bros. The Splunky. The Splunky says, if WWE were put new on-screen brand GMs from WWE's roster of legends that have already... okay. Okay. So legends being new GMs. Who would you want?
Sid.
For which brand?
Both.
All three?
Yeah, Psycho Sid on Raw.
Okay, yeah.
Sid Vicious on SmackDown.
And Sid Justice in NXT.
Sid Justice in NXT.
Okay, that's cool. I'm going to say Booker T in NXT.
Oh, that's
he
good.
leaves. He's commentary / GM.
That's good.
For Raw, I would go with Sid. Why not?
There we go.
And then for SmackDown, a little bit of glitz, a little bit of glamour. Hollywood Batista.
Oh, good.
Drax.
Great idea.
That's it.
Great idea. Alex Foster here says, outside of simply winning matches, what ways could the Usos gain favor with Roman?
They need to take charge of something, man. They need to spearhead a project.
They need a spring for catering on one of these private jets
That's
or
what
bus
I
trips.
was. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
They should be the one to go up to Roman and said, hey, tribal chief.
Hey,
Got you a full spread of steak and sushi
yeah,
on the bus, all for you.
How about this? They go to paintyourlife.com
Oh, good.
and they get like a nice painting of Roman. Yeah, exactly. Like we got with Sid.
Yeah,
But it's
it's
like
just the two of them and Roman. No solo, though.
No Solo, no Wise Man. Roman will turn around just like that. Oh, look at this painting. This is beautiful. Solo. Why didn't you make a painting? Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. Let's see here. Alex Rivera says they might have missed an opportunity for Edge to win that World Heavyweight Championship. How do you see the last year of Edge's career going? Who should he feud with over the next year? Has he feuded with AJ Styles?
I don't remember at this point. You
What
ask the
about
question all the time, and the more you ask, the more I forget.
I got it. Edge versus Judgment Day.
Don't think we've seen that before.
I don't know. Okay, so who haven't we seen?
Who should retire Edge? That's the question, because I feel like he's like time's running out of his deal. Don't they have like a huge Toronto show coming up? I'm not thinking of Forbidden Door. No Forbidden Doors in Toronto, but I thought WWE had something planned for Toronto this year.
Edge.
Like, could he have his retirement match at that particular show?
It's got to be somebody new.
Someone needs that rub, yeah.
Somebody needs that rub. I mean, I know he got stacked by Roman. I get that, but what if like Solo retires him?
What about Grayson Waller?
Yeah, no, don't like that at all. Dom. Oh, of course. No, but it's Judgment Day again. He can't do that shit again.
Yeah, there's a whole story. You have to like start now to tell that story because we haven't seen it yet.
Right. Yeah. Who is? I mean, that's a problem with having, all your wrestlers are like, 39 and up. Austin Theory. I don't want Austin Theory.
No, it should not be Austin Theory.
I don't want Austin Theory.
We got Johnny Nightmoose here. Renewed their memberships. In 2015, I lost my brother to suicide. Going in Raw was a happy place. You guys were there for me. We are here for you. Rest in peace, Enforcer.
I'm really sorry to hear about your brother. I know it was 2015 was a long time ago, but I'm still that probably still stings.
Yeah.
And thank you for the nice comments there.
Yeah, thank you.
Strive feels free. If the Bloodline win the tag titles, do we need Solo to go after the U.S. title next?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dude, at this point, look, it's the best story in wrestling, maybe in the history of wrestling. Give them all the gold, except for the Intercontinental Championship and everything on SmackDown.
Yeah, give them all the titles.
Yeah.
All of them.
Just do it.
Please. Alex Washington, what's with WWE's obsession with the spear as a finisher? Don't get me wrong, it's a cool move, but you have Roman, Lashley, Braun, Charlotte, Edge, and of the wrestlers that are active, plus Batista, Goldberg, Rhino, hell, even Big Show and Big E used it. Is it the most dominant and overused finisher? It wasn't the finisher for everybody. Like, of the names listed, it's only for Roman, I guess Lashley. Like, those are the two.
Charlotte use it as a finisher?
Not often, no.
Yeah, I don't
Usually
think
it's
so.
the figure eight. That's primary.
These days, Braun, he used the spear, but then he puts him in the Steiner recliner.
Yeah.
So, but it's a solid point. A lot of people do use it, and I think it probably is up there with like the most used finisher. I could see that.
Totally. Stan here asked, do you think the wider wrestling fan base sees the World Heavyweight Championship as a consolation prize? If they put the title on, well, really either Seth or AJ, because neither of them have feuded and lost to Roman yet. If it main events Night of Champions, then it feels like it's on the path to not being a consolation prize.
Do you think
Cody had gotten
it,
if Finn had won it? It's great, as much as we love Finn here. Anybody who had previously lost to Roman, then won the World Heavyweight Championship, it would have felt like a consolation prize.
Do you think that the general, and it's difficult to tell because what do we know? Yeah. We just were on Twitter, right?
Yeah.
But like, I wonder, do you think the general wrestling audience? I mean, I've seen that sentiment, so I've seen it more than I haven't. So I think you're right in that until they prove otherwise, it's going to feel that way.
It's going to feel like the B title until they actually book it consistently, so it's not the B title.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But it'll go a long way to making it not feel like a consolation prize by having someone that Roman hasn't beat win it and then have it main event pay-per-views that Roman's on.
Yeah. Guardian Ape says, would you rather at SummerSlam Roman versus Conor McGregor, Roman versus Bad Bunny, or Roman versus Jay and Jimmy?
Ooh, give me Roman versus Jay. I guess and Jimmy too, but
Roman stacks the Usos.
Roman versus Jay for sure. That'd be my pick.
I would say
I don't
Roman,
really have any interest in Conor McGregor coming to
neither
WWE.
Do I. No, and Bad Bunny would be like, that'd be fun, but I'd rather see Bad Bunny doing something more substantial because it's just a foregone conclusion. Yeah. No, Roman stacking the Usos would be like horrific. It's like, oh my God, they just had Roman Reigns stack the Usos. That's horrible. Yeah. But it'd also be compelling and interesting.
I know. So apparently SmackDown's going to be in Toronto in August.
Ah, okay.
Blake here asks, as a relatively new podcast, what are you hoping to accomplish here compared to your old government jobs?
Oh, man, being bought by SiriusXM for a bill.
Mm-hmm. It's
like a bill. These days, if you're not aiming to get a bill for whatever you do, then like, why are you even doing it? It's like passion. Well, you can't buy, you can't buy a fancy house with passion. You need a bill, especially these days with the mortgage rates being what they are. Yeah. You kind of need a bill. Right?
Well, I mean, if you have a bill, then you can pay cash for it. You don't need to worry about taking out a mortgage.
That's a really good point. Yeah, absolutely.
But nonetheless, housing prices through the roof still.
Through the roof. Yeah, exactly. So obviously, what our goal is, sell to SiriusXM for a bill.
Yeah.
Or nothing. They come at us with like 500 mil. It's like, what? Like, why are you devaluing us by a half?
Steve's going to turn to Lucas Madsen if that were the case.
They're going to be like, well, we noticed this metric error that, boosted your subs, inflated your subs erroneously.
Yeah.
It's like we need 2 Indias to get our actual numbers. Yeah. Let's see here. Kiddo Hudson's on live says, should AJ Styles win the World Heavyweight Championship, which would have AJ and the OC going back to Raw, have Cody then go to SmackDown as a trade, which would have the Money in the Bank open for LA Knight to win that?
Sounds like a great scenario to me. Here's the thing: Raw's not going to trade their first draft pick, though, overall from the draft.
Yeah.
They're not, I mean, no disrespect to the OC, no disrespect to AJ Styles. They'd have to get more.
Elemental Giant says, when are Bianca and Rhea losing their titles and to whom? Are they going to job? Is Bianca, look, they had the championship celebration. I think the record they want is had.
Yeah.
Have Asuka win the damn title and Bianca can go back on the chase.
Yeah. Yeah.
You think they might do? I mean, they're revisiting this feud. It's just going to be where Bianca's going to win again.
Yeah. I don't know what other reason there is to revisit the feud if not for a different outcome.
Yeah, I know. Exactly.
I don't know.
Unless Vince forgot that he already did that and he's doubling down and he's like, hey, Dad, we already did that. We just did that match at WrestleMania. God damn it, I knew that. Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. But we're doing it again.
Jimmy Thomas here says, so Brock has wrestled at every premium live event this year. Do you think this is his last big run? I feel like he's enjoying what he's doing.
Yeah, I'll believe. He's sort of been like a bit, I don't know, coy about that. Like he said on one hand, like, yeah, he's coming down to it, but at the same time, he'll keep doing it as long as he's having fun.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. Tom Talks Rubbish here with Super Chat. Says, rest in peace to the Enforcer. Nothing but love for you, friendos. Y'all are amazing. Thank you so much, Tom. We appreciate it. You have, don't you have an interview coming up with Tom soon?
Yeah, coming up soon, yeah.
Yeah, so that's cool. Go follow. If you're on YouTube,
Shot it a while ago, yeah.
A little while ago, yeah. All right. I think it's time to bring in Triple H. So
okay, I need to focus.
You really got to focus.
My contacts are drying out right now in my eyes.
Oh, that's not good. That's a bad move.
I need to try to focus. So, all right.
So this is our Raw preview. We're going to bring in Triple H. Yeah. He hasn't changed his Zoom picture of him with the Vince hair. Yeah, kind of silly, but here we go. Oof. Hi, this is Triple H, the Game of Games. How can I help you today? Don't interrupt my greeting. How can I help you?
Raw preview time.
Oh, it's Raw preview. What's the name of the show again that we're doing this on? What's the name of your show?
What's the name of the show on WB for WB programming tonight?
Monday Night Raw. That's right. Yeah. Okay.
Our show's named after that one.
All right, here we go. Just got the script in. I got it approved from Dad. A lot of red ink here, but we're going to get through it. Yeah. Cody Rhodes going to respond to Brock Lesnar's WWE Night of Champions challenge.
Didn't Cody already respond? He already accepted the fight last week.
He accepted. He said, we're going to do a fight. But we're going to say what kind of fight is it going to be. Is it going to be a street fight? Is it going to be a falls count anywhere, no holds barred, blah, 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 whatever kind of stipulation it's going to be. It's going to be a street fight. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Street fight.
It does a lot of sense there, yeah. Let's see you next up. Don't interrupt. Becky Lynch addresses her adversary, Trish Stratus.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Trish Stratus... Becky Lynch. What do you think Becky Lynch is going to say to Trish Stratus?
Probably going to say, I want a match against you.
Yeah.
Night of Champions.
Night of Champions are going to get into a match. What kind of match? What kind of match do you think it should be?
Standard match.
Standard match. Regular, just this contest is going to be for one fall.
One fall.
Right. All right. Let's see here. Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville are going to challenge Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez for the WWE Women's Tag Team titles. What do you think so far of Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville as a tag team?
I think they've been great. Character work is outstanding. Every segment they're in, lots of fun.
So much fun, lots of fun. And they're going to challenge the tag team champions, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. Watch me.
Watch me.
Oh, man. Oh, yeah. Who loves to watch? I love to watch. I'll be honest with you. I love to watch. You want to watch me? I want to watch. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Come on, let's see it.
This is Liv Morgan's catchphrase.
Yeah, no, watch me. That's what I like to come on.
All right, Steve.
Do you want to watch me or am I going to watch you? What's it going to be?
Steve.
What's it going to be?
Damn
Come on.
You're taking too long, Steve.
Where are your Who's Steve? Oh, Steve. Who's that?
Gosh darn it.
See, you want to watch too? We're going to have just 3 dudes watching each other crank it. That's what we're going to do. Oh, man. Well, God. That took forever for me to get him out of here.
So long?
What did you say? What horny thing did you say?
Morgan's catchphrase. I said, "Watch me," because Triple H said it.
Why would you say "watch me"? That
Because
Dick
that's
Slavitt
her
loves to
catchphrase.
watch.
That's
He
her
loves to
catchphrase.
watch.
I don't know that.
Oh my God! How would you not know that?
I tried to pay attention to anything he says.
Man, I tried to cut that off as soon as I can.
That took
and
forever.
It took a little bit of time.
Damn you, Steve! You should be on the button.
I'm trying. But the button always changes. The button moves.
It doesn't work that way.
It does. The button's
That's
in
not
a
how
different
Zoom
place.
works.
Every time there's a different
Oh, it
place
doesn't.
where the
Lies.
button is. Zoom keeps on changing everything.
Wrong. Incorrect.
Anyways.
You enjoy when Dick Slavitt shows up.
I do
And
not
it makes
enjoy
me
it.
uncomfortable. You enjoy it.
I do not enjoy it.
You do.
I do not enjoy. I do take no pleasure. No pleasure to be had.
Take pleasure.
Oh man, who said pleasure? Oh golly! What did you said pleasure? Of course he's going to show up.
Well, you said it.
Oh my goodness gracious! Anyways, that's going to do it. What a debacle once again. Another Monday debacle.
Just an absolute. Yeah, debacle's a good word.
I believe so. Anyways, thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Say his name. He appeared. Unbelieving Dick Slavitt.
Oh man.